Penny Wong is the longest-serving female minister in cabinet, celebrating an historic 2,769th cumulative day this week. Born in the Malaysian state Sabah in 1968, Wong's family moved to Australia when she was 8 years old, settling in Adelaide. She has stated that she and her brother were often bullied in school for being the only Asian students. And when she had finished her arts law degree and first began her parliamentary career, was shocked at the tone of that campaign, the way that border issues, asylum seeker issues were meshed with xenophobia. In her maiden speech in Parliament, she highlighted Australia's history of racism and has staunchly supported policies that fuse the interests and practices of First Nation people into Australian diplomacy.
What lies at the heart of any truly civilised society? Surely it must be compassion. Compassion must be that underlying principle, that core value at the heart of our collective consciousness. If not compassion, then what? Economic efficiency? Or the imposition of some subjective moral code defined by some and imposed on the many?
First elected to the Senate in 2001 for South Australia, Wong's career has seen her occupy roles such as Australia's first ever Minister for Climate Change, the first female leader of the government in the Senate, and Minister for Foreign Affairs. And as the first Asian Australian and LGBTQ+ person to hold this office, Penny Wong is proving her reputation as a highly capable and intelligent politician who isn't afraid to speak her mind.
Oh yes, why don't you meow when a woman does that? That's a good idea. That's really, it is just extraordinary. The blokes are allowed to yell, but if a woman stands her ground, you want to make that kind of comment. It's sort of schoolyard politics, mate.
And this is one aspect that fuels both her supporters and her opposition, and advocates strongly for the issues she believes in. Wong has long supported a bigger role for Australia in the Pacific region during a time of changing global powers, calling out the previous Morrison government's lack of intervention in the China Solomon Islands security deal, which allowed an expansion of Chinese maritime presence and a potential second military base in the area, calling it the worst failure for Australian foreign policy in the Pacific since World War II. Wong's cool-headed approach to foreign affairs has allowed her to stay one step ahead and break new ground in Australia's diplomacy. At the G20 Foreign Ministers Summit in 2022, only a few months into her tenure as Foreign Minister, Wong was part of the first high-level China-Australia meeting in over 3 years, discussing bilateral, regional and consular issues with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. This represented the Albanese government's priority of stabilising this relationship and Wong's productive approach to foreign affairs. In a time of increased political fragmentation, constant media cycles, and rising instances of far-right activity, the job of high-ranking politicians such as Wong is to be a representative for all Australians, and by doing so, restore trust in democratic institutions. And perhaps part of Wong's success is how others treated her, a minority who, at the beginning of her career, was not prepared to risk a seat because of who she was and how it could sway voters. However, it is more than who she is that has fueled her success. It is what it has made her into, an empathetic politician who has built a reputation for not taking a backward step.
A senator in this place made an extraordinarily offensive and divisive statement. He blamed the horrific act of terror, of murder, not on the extremist right-wing terrorist, but on the victims of his evil acts. This senator sought to further fan the flames of division. How pathetic. How shameful.
And as leader of the government in the Senate and the trusted voice for the Prime Minister, Wong's achievements are even more remarkable considering there have only been 34 women to serve in the federal cabinet since Federation in 1901, the first being Tasmania's Enid Lyons and Dorothy Tagney for Western Australia in 1943. Continuing to break glass ceilings whilst the political landscape changes around her seems to be Wong's new job, and it's certainly one she is up for.